Is what you think what you think? Or is it what somebody told you to think? How many were told to think a bunch of stuff and they never told you why and you just accept it and start thinking that? Okay. How many have done this where you find yourself thinking about what you're thinking about and you come across stuff, you say, what in the world is that doing in there? How many through your study of religious science and in classes and Sunday morning and whenever you do it, all of a sudden found nincompoopry in your thinking process that you allowed yourself to free yourself from? Dr. Ernest Holmes said, I don't care what religion you are, there is no thinking person on this planet that will ever disagree with what we teach. The non-thinkers, it'll drive them crazy. Because why? Because they're using their non-thinking to justify blame gaming. My unhappiness is a result of him and her and them and that. There it is. Here's my list. Okay. Here's my list. I'd like to be happy, but I got to go over my list first. I'd rather be prosperous, but I got to go over my list first. I'd rather find answers, but I got to go over my list first. I'd rather justify my unhappiness than affirm my happiness. Why? Because their identification is caught up in the unhappiness. Good. I think I will moan, groan, and complain about you forever so I can have a justification about how I feel about you, even though I say outwardly I don't feel that way, but inwardly I do. So our experience, whatever it is, person, place, thing, job, anything else, is less than what it could be because I've come up with this limitation idea that I am affirming and believing in. We have a possibility. That possibility is always ready, willing, and able to become anything we let it be. Now let's explore the journey. Everyone say, my uniqueness demonstrates the beautiful in a way it's never happened before. My uniqueness is the beautiful in action. My uniqueness unfolds as greatness. My uniqueness knows what to do and how to do it. And the entire universe backs up. My uniqueness and my unique ideas about my uniqueness. You follow where we're going with this? You see, there's a law that backs up everything, whether you know you are unique or not. Whether you know you're one with God or not. If you think the thought is going to move into law, law is going to become experience and it's going to become form, and your thinking becomes what? You are what you think about all day long. Everybody is. I don't care what church you go to, what you call your religion or anything else. Our religion in religious science is the awareness of what? There's a power in this universe that operates on our thinking, and whatever we think about all day long shows up in our life as experience. So if we don't want it to show up anymore, we start where? Simply with who we are. And we start with God. There's one life. It's God. It's what? Say with me. My life. Now, that doesn't have any history other than the fact that it is all history. Okay? But it's always ready to become new if we get out of the way and do what? Let our beautiful come forth. Let our uniqueness come forth. Let our joy come forth. How many felt it in there when you weren't letting it come out and it was like, okay. If you don't want to do it anymore, if you don't want to be it anymore, if you don't want to have it anymore, then don't think it anymore. We are rooted in cause, first cause. We are rooted in the beautiful. At the subconscious level, we are all the same. At the subconscious level, there is law, the law of the universe. We are exploring this in second year class with our Mastering Life class, which is absolutely wonderful. And we realize that at the subconscious level, deep within us, there is a vast and endless possibility that is ready to unfold if we let it happen. And if we don't know how to let it happen, we can learn how to let it happen. This is why we teach classes in religious science. Dr. Ernest Holmes wanted our teaching centers to be educational centers that do Sunday services, not churches that do classes. A religious science educational center that takes anybody from any religion, any past, whether they have one or not, and wakes up to the reality. As Emerson said, your religion is what you're doing with yourself 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not where you spend an hour on Sunday. Okay? This is why we can get together as like-minded people and say, hey, isn't it great? Okay, how many realize that this group of people in this room, that there are parts of this country and the world that if we got loose in the middle of it, they would think we're stark raving mad? Okay. Don't you know God meant it to be this way? Right, okay. Dr. Holmes said, I daily thank God that the God most people believe in is not. I daily thank God the God most people believe in isn't. How limited could it be? You cannot limit the infinite. So, the totality of the universe has been given to each and every one of us alike. There's no one that has more of it than somebody else. We recognize that the universal law is functioning as the law of life. The law of whose life? Everyone say the law of my life. You can't turn this law off any more than you can say, gravity. How do you know gravity doesn't care what church you go to? Okay. Gravity doesn't say, I'm sorry, you went to the wrong church this Sunday. Okay. Everyone say, as my understanding grows, I consciously began to use the law of life in a healthy-minded way. It becomes the creative law of my life. Now, why does it become the creative law of your life? It becomes the creative law of your life because through understanding you realize that you are the creative process. How many have read that book? Go over to the bookstore afterwards. Creative process in the individual. Troard, what does he say? Well, who is the creative process? Where is the creative process? Can you get away from it? No. So everything you think is going to create something. Take the responsibility for your thinking. Take the responsibility for your expecting. The basic question seems to be, if we look at the basic question that many of us have as we find a teaching like this and start studying, is can you attain the goals that you want to attain? Can you attain these goals from where you are? Everyone say there's no other place to start. How many know people that are waiting to get to another place before they start? Well, as soon as it gets better, I'll feel better. As soon as they change, I'll feel better. As soon as they do them and them. As soon as that clears up, then I'll, okay. As soon as I stop getting negative news, I'll feel better. Okay, feel better so it'll get better. Think better so it gets better. Expect better so it gets better. If you always link your future to your past, what you're going to do is you're going to add challenges to your life that's going to complicate the challenges you already have. You follow what I'm saying? If you just link now with yesterday and pull all of that garbage into here instead of pulling the wisdom of the garbage, how many have had some garbage in your life that you're wiser because you had it? Okay. How many are still putting it out? See, because you think that's all you can do, that's all you can be. You know what? That is past thinking. That's past definition thinking. That's yesterday thinking. So don't take yesterday and you complicate what's in front of you now. You've got things to do now that's important. You've got things to do now that are wonderful. And when are you going to do it? Are you going to put it off? I tell you what, if you're putting it off till tomorrow, what's your journey going to look like? A lifelong journey of discovery is saying, I now move forward so I can discover something new and be something new and have something new and experience something new and give something new and receive something new. Our goal should be to experience inner transformation if we're going to have the journey be beautiful. Everybody say inner transformation. The creative power is always functioning. You got that? Everybody say, the creative power is always functioning. See, you can't turn it off. Since you can't turn it off, then you need to turn yourself on to the fact that you can't turn it off and pay attention to what you're giving it to do, what you're giving it to be, what you're giving it to evolve as your event, as your experience. It does this how? It does it through a personal act of consciousness, which does what? It distributes divine energy as form in your life. And it affirms all is beautiful and all is good because it doesn't know anything but good. How many know that your terrible might be somebody else's great? Okay. An illustration we've used a long time is that, if an earthquake hits and everybody goes, oh, that's a terrible earthquake, but the same earthquake hits the jail and let all the prisoners out, they're going to say, hey, great earthquake. Hey, man, love that earthquake. Okay, so is an earthquake bad or good? It's just what the world does, and if you don't want one, don't live in a place where it happens. Okay. I just got a call from some people back in the East, and they said, I don't know how you live in California with all those earthquakes, And they're living in an area where the earthquake drops out of the sky about 15 times a year. Yes. Anyhow, I grew up in one of those. I remember my brother and I went up the highest hill in Denton, Texas once and sat up there and watched 5 tornadoes circling the city at one time. I said, I think when I grow up, I'm not going to live here anymore. Anyhow. Now, the problem. What is the problem? The problem is many times we make decisions through unconscious actions that we don't want. We got something in our unconscious that just expects not to be happy, not to be healthy, not to have a relationship, not to have prosperity, not to have the beautiful, not to have the joy and the celebration, even though we're saying out loud that we want it and we accept it. Subconsciously, if it's not showing up, we may need to get in there and clean that subconscious out, because all it's waiting for you to do is say, wake up and do something different. Okay. Dr. Holmes pointed out once that most people have not had an original thought since they were 12 years old. They have not had an original thought since they were 12 years old. They plug into a political party that tells them what to think and what to do and how to feel. They plug into a religion that tells them what to do and what to think and how to feel. They plug into all kinds of nonsense. They give birth to something that tells them what to do and how to feel. They marry something that tells them what to do and how to feel. And the challenge we have is to declare our freedom and be that freedom in action, and stop spending every day of your life like April Fool's Day and fooling yourself. Because if you say I am and you put something ridiculous after it, you are fooling yourself. Okay. Everyone say, I let April Fools only happen once a year. Now, don't fool yourself with that. Okay. Here's good news. Good news. You can have conscious concern for your life if you let that concern wake you up to know there's an answer. If you wake up and know that if you are going to accept an answer, you're going to accept the responsibility of that answer and the quality of the existence that comes along with the answer. You deserve quality existence. Do you know that? That's what the universe is. If the universe was going to say something to you, it would say, you deserve quality existence, because everything I am, you are. I am that which thou art that which I am. I am quality existence. Go ahead and be the truth of what you are, and quality existence becomes your natural experience. It becomes your positive unfoldment. This is done through reviewing, through thinking your thought and thinking about your thought. This comes through asking basic questions about your life and what you're doing with it, your health, your happiness, your finances, and allow yourself to not be afraid to explore your own mind, your own thinking, and allow yourself to ask the questions, where do I come from? Who and what am I? What is the source of life? Where am I going? How am I using my consciousness? Is it possible to bring about a rich and satisfying existence? The answer is yes. And if you accept that answer, you have a ticket to a journey of discovery that's beyond anything you've ever known before. And no matter how long you've been here or how much discovery you've experienced, there's more to discover. Every day is new, and it's a beautiful thing to be you. Know it. Namaste. Thank you.